Hey church family, the Advent season is finally here. I used to introduce this video by saying this is the top 3 things you need to know in 3 minutes or less. So it just turns out I have 3 things today. So we're going to go back and run that playbook. The first thing is Project Christmas. On Sundays, you'll see this little handout and a little table titled Project Christmas. This is a simple thing we do every year to bless some of our neighbors, the teachers at Paddock Road Elementary, the teachers at Westside High School, and the women of New Community. It's a way that we can give them gifts as a way of honoring them and a way of thanking them for who they are and for the ways that they serve in our city. And so I want to remind you to take advantage of that. We need all the Project Christmas gifts brought to the church by December 17th so that we can pass them out. And so if you'll be responsible for that in the next 2 weeks, it's a great way for our church to bless and serve our neighbors and our city. So Project Christmas, don't forget. Second, this is the Advent season, and one of the things I love most about it is pulling up the Coram Deo Advent album. Yes, there's an album we have recorded here, and you can find it on, I use Spotify, maybe use one of those other streaming services, but I'll just talk about Spotify because that's what I know. I pull up the Coram Deo Advent album on Spotify at this time of year. It's one of those albums that has songs we've written here, songs we've arranged here, songs our musicians have recorded. It's one of my favorite things about the Christmas season. If you go to the store, you're going to hear Santa music and reindeer music and white Christmas music. Nothing wrong with all that. But man, we want to be singing and listening to Jesus music, incarnation music, music about the light of the world stepping into our darkness. That's what our album EP is focused on. And so I hope you'll go look for it and listen to it, send it to your friends, get the word out about that wonderful musical contribution to the Advent season. Third, I want to let you know about an interesting new podcast I've been listening to. It has nothing to do with Advent. It's called The Surprising Rebirth of Belief in God. Justin Brierley is a journalist in the UK who has been working on YouTube for years, doing all kinds of interviews between theists and atheists. This is a new podcast he just came out with, tracing the decline of new atheism and the surprising rebirth of belief in God among many intellectuals and many skeptics. He interviews people like Alistair McGrath and William Lane Craig and some major thinkers and apologists and a bunch of people at places like Oxford and Cambridge universities who find themselves surprisingly attracted to theism and to belief in God. It's a really interesting take on what's happening in the world around us and some really interesting stories. I've found it enjoyable, and I thought you might want to check it out as well. So hey, listen, those are my 3 things for you this week. I'll see you next week for another weekly update. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful Advent season.